do you think it's kind of therapy to be, I mean, to work like this on the energy and all that stuff?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's very therapeutic for me, and I think for everybody, because if we don't do a show in a couple of weeks, you miss that energy, you miss that. It's a drug. It's definitely a drug, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not that too heavy to be on the road all the time and have those shows every night, or do you feel fed up sometimes? Say, oh, please give me a break from
That's just what I was saying, though. I mean, for me, like, it's all shit apart from playing on stage and being in the studio. Do you know what I mean? To me, because like, you know, I don't sit in the studio to do interviews. You know, I don't sit in the studio to do photo sessions and listen and talk to people live on the radio, on the phone. You know, I sit in the studio to play on stage. Do you know what I mean? That's the only reason I do it. You know, and
that's how the buzz started.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's the only. I mean, like, you know, you can't get a buzz out of sitting on a plane, you know, every week, going to the airport every week. You know, it's just like becomes boring, and yeah, I hate all that. But like, I love playing, so I mean, that's the thing that's good about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's the consolation about it. You know, you go through 12 hours of travelling and doing interviews and whatever, which is, yeah, in a way, part of the parcel. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, we didn't get into it because of that. You know, we got into it because it was a buzz, and the hour, 20 minutes what we're on stage makes up for that. You know?
So let's talk about the two, because you're going touring in Europe, and you're not coming to France. That's very frustrating for French people.
I didn't
and
realise.
I read somewhere that you don't like very much. You say that the French audience is very different to the other audience.
Well, they are, aren't they?
I don't know.
I think, yeah. Just otherwise we would have been there. You know, it's like, yeah, I thought we were actually going to France in a couple of months. Or maybe you haven't found out yet, but I think we're doing a gig in like a couple of months' time. We're coming across. But like, for me, yeah, I like France. But like, the thing is, I just can't understand why we've been around for 7 years. You know, within the first couple of years, we've played almost most countries in Europe. Mostly all the different countries, and like France being the closest. It's weird the way we didn't go there, you know, for ages and ages, and I just couldn't understand why we didn't go there. And so it's very difficult to like understand the music in France and stuff like that. It's so different from England and the rest of Europe. I think.
Very confusing.
Yeah,
it is.
You know, that was all I was trying to say. You know, that was it really. But yeah, all the times we've played there, we've really had a good time. You know, definitely. When I'm in the studio, I'm kind of really fussy. You know, I've got a sound in my head, and until I get the sound or something really close to the sound, I'm like, no, it's not right. It's not right. And yeah, you're right. You know, sometimes it does take a couple of weeks to get the right sounds. But like when it comes out, it's got to be right. You know, and yeah, I'm like that, definitely, yeah.
And what are you doing when it's doing like this? Waiting 3 weeks for the sound? Are you just staying around, or come back the week after and say, oh, what's going on?
He comes round,
bite my nails.
He comes round, you know, and, like, usually I'll get things down pretty quickly, you know, if I've got beats, if I lay beats down, you know, Maxim Reality, you know, and Keith want to hear beats, you know, they want to hear things that they can get a vibe off of, if it's a vocal song or something. You know, it's like poison. Literally, I laid down just the beat for Poison, and within like a couple of hours, you know, we had the vocals sort of worked out and stuff. It was just jamming. And so usually things come together pretty quickly. It's just the odd elements that take time, you know.
Some people compare you to the Sex Pistols and the old punk attitude. Are you agree with that? Do you take this responsibility, or absolutely not, nothing to see with that, and just prove that your Prodigy is your own identity and there's nothing else?
It's like, people make me laugh, don't they, when they go, yeah, they're the new Rolling Stones, they're the new Sex Pistols. You know, just because Keith sparks his hair up, just, you know, we're not the new Sex Pistols, we're the Prodigy, do you know what I mean? You know, in like 5 years' time, what is some journalist going to say? Yeah, they're the new Prodigy.
So what,
you know,
what were the Sex Pistols new to?
They were totally original when they come out, and we're totally original now. You know, there isn't any other bands like us. Yeah, you can draw some comparisons, like some of Keith's vocals.
Yeah, you can escape that.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm into the punk rock scene. I'm into the art of it and the anarchic side of what happened in the punk rock scene. But yeah, and some of the styles we bring to the Prodigy. But I don't think, yeah, Sex Pistols weren't the only thing that happened in punk rock was good. There was loads of good bands.
But I think, you know, I think in a way, Sex Pistols had their own style and whatever, but it was just punk, you know.
Well, it was a new attitude at the time.
Yeah, it was a new attitude at the time. Yeah, but the Prodigy, we've taken on so many different attitudes from all over. You know, you can't really pinpoint it and just say it's like Sex Pistols were punk. It was part of an attitude. It was a movement was happening at the time. We're not part of a movement. There's no Prodigy movement. You know, there's not other bands which are Prodigy bands. Do you know what I mean? We're just a band that will stand on our own. We live the Prodigy. We are the Prodigy. Do you know what I mean? I'm just being myself. Do you know what I mean? And the way I see it, if I'm always myself, then I haven't got nothing to worry about. Do you know, it's when I'm trying to be somebody else.
Yeah.
And then I think, oh man, I've got to be. But what would he do?
Well, I'm going to do today.
Yeah, you know, but I'm just being myself, so I haven't got nothing to worry about. So, but yeah, this is our life. You know what I mean? I'm just living, being myself.
You know, it's like sometimes, you know, journalists will say to Keith, you know, because he's wild on stage, you know, maybe if they sit down and speak to him for a while, you know, that particular time, he's just chilled out, you know, he just wants to be mellow. You know, he's not always full on, and like, you know, they're like, come on then, do something mad, you know, to Keith, and Keith's like, well, I'm not a Spice Girl, I don't just like do mad things for you. He goes, I'll get off on different things, you know, I'll get off on the music, I'll get off on the manic energy or whatever, you know, and just, that's what happens to me when I get on stage, you know, you can't just turn it on and turn it off, you know, so that, going back to like the beginning of the interview when you said you seem like normal people, you know, it's just like, well, this is a normal atmosphere, do you know what I mean? It's just a hotel room doing an interview, so like, you know, a lot of people think that
we're just like
full on all the time, you know, but it's not like that really. No, I think Maxim and Keith are really good at the vocal side of things, and that's something I'm not good at, you know. So like, obviously, like people do what they're good at, you know, and I think I write better tunes than Keith does. So he doesn't write tunes, you know. Yeah. Maxim's doing his own stuff as well, like, and a lot of his stuff is really good, you know, and it's different to my stuff, so that's really cool. But like
for the Prodigy, Liam writes Prodigy music. Do you know? I mean, I write tunes, but I couldn't write the tunes what Liam writes. Do you know, it's just a vibe of my own. It's a totally different style. I wouldn't be able to capture the energy what Liam captures in his tunes. You know, so you know, I mean, we all get a buzz out of, you know, when Liam, you know, we're dying for him to get back in the studio in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, we get a buzz when he says, yeah, he's starting a new tune, go around, and you're waiting for something to give you a buzz. You know, something's going to be something there for you, something new. You know, so yeah, but you know, that's going to come quite soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back in the studio because I haven't recorded for about sort of 3 months. You know, I've had taken some time off. I went on holiday, moved house, built a new studio. You know, all those things. You know, you think they're going to take a certain time, but always take a bit longer. Like the album took an extra year to do. No, you know, and stuff like that. And I think that you know, it's important to like to get into like a new space because like in the old studio, I recorded so many tracks in there. You know, I just couldn't record any more stuff in there. I just like couldn't work in the room anymore. You know, all my ideas were just like, you know, I couldn't work in that particular room anymore. I just, you know, didn't want to. I just couldn't, you know, get it together in that room. So I decided, right, that's it. I'm going to move and kind of build a new studio. And I'm really happy with the new room I've got. It's wicked, you know.
It's about, you know, it's about different inspirations and different vibes, you know.
Yeah.
For not only, you know, as Liam's saying, it's from changing the studio, but it's also from ourselves travelling different places, you know, and not becoming stagnant, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, turn a new leaf and like just take on different ideas and whatever, and progress in a different way. You know, so next year we'll be totally different from what we are now.
Kind of legend about the provocation going around Prodigy. It was kind of Goering citation on the album. Is that just for fun and nothing to do with the fascism?
Well, I did an interview on French radio. You know, I don't know if you heard that. It was live on the radio, and you know the radio station. I can't remember who they were. Some small radio station or something. But like, you know, they basically threatened not to play any more Prodigy songs unless I went on there and apologised, you know, and explained why I did that. And I was like, well, for a start, you know, I don't care if you don't play any of my records ever again, because I'm not, you know, you either want to be down with something that's cool or you don't. You know, if you don't, then that's your loss, you know. So basically, like, the reason I used the Goering quote was because I believe I can take something, a quote, like I take a sound, like a sample, and bring it into my own world and totally change it, you know, like put it in a different context and it means something else. Like the way I took the Goering quote is I took it from something that's really bad and brought it into our world, and to me that was like a hip-hop quote, like some black kid in the Bronx could have said that about guns. You know, having guns is more powerful than having food. You know, to survive you needed guns in the ghetto, do you know what I mean? Shit like that. So that was my idea of using the quote. A lot of people didn't understand that. It doesn't bother me if they didn't understand it, because once they've heard me explain what I knew I wanted to use it for, then they will understand. But a lot of people just won't listen to explanations, you know, and that's what the French radio station did. But
surely don't you think that's doing a positive thing by taking something what's negative and bringing it into your own world and making it into a positive thing, you know? Basically just breaking down the barriers. You know, it's in a way it's like the stereotypical, like the word nigger. Do you know what I mean? Okay, it's like oh, you're not supposed to say the word nigger. Do you know what I mean? But hip hop artists have taken that word, taken it upon themselves, and they call their friends, yo, my nigger. Yes, that's my nigger this, my nigger that. And they call white people even my nigger, you know, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So they're just using it into a way where it doesn't make any sense. Do you know? So
it becomes acceptable.
It becomes acceptable and becomes meaningless. You know, does it have no meaning whatsoever? And I think that's in the way. That's the same way taking that quote and also taking Smack My Bitch Up. You know.
And people like expect us to, just because we're in a band, to be responsible. Like I'm not responsible. I don't see why being in a band should make me responsible. You know, I wasn't responsible before I was in a band, and I'm not now. You know, the only time I'll be responsible is when I have kids. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, thank you very much. You promise to come over France pretty soon?
Definitely.
Say to this camera. Promise?
We promise.
Okay, it's cool. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Respect.
Bye.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Cool.